Hello, dear students. Let's see one more example of view serializability. Now, we are given a schedule S over here. Now, this schedule S has two transactions T1 and T2. And clearly observe schedule S is concurrent schedule because the operations of T1 and T2 are interleaved, as you can see very well. We want to know whether this schedule, which is containing T1 and T2, is view serializable or not. Now, I hope you remember the definition of view serializable schedule that we saw in the earlier video. We say schedule S is view serializable when is a concurrent schedule. This is a concurrent schedule. Remember, concurrent schedule S, when is it view serializable? Is view serializable if it is if this schedule S is view equivalent. I'll write in short, view equivalent to some serial schedule, to some serial schedule. And what do you mean by view equivalent? We saw in the earlier video there are three conditions on every data item. That was initial read, final write, and updated read. Okay, so I hope you understood what the problem is. We are given schedule S, check whether this schedule containing two transactions T1 and T2 is view serializable or not. Now, for this to be view serializable, it has to be equivalent to one of the serial schedules. So what we will have to do is, we will have to find out how many serial schedules are possible if the two transactions T1 and T2 are given. Of course, I have written serial schedule S1 here. Note, this S1 is a serial schedule containing T1 and T2. You can clearly see these operations, read A, read B, write B of T1 are written first, followed by all operations of T2. So what is the order here? The order is T1 runs and completes, and after that T2 runs and completes. So this is serial schedule. And there is another serial schedule S2 possible, correct? How exactly? Let T2 run first, T2 will run completely, and after that T1 will run. Okay. Now, if this schedule S given on the left here is view equivalent to either S1 or S2, then we declare that S is view serializable. I hope it is not too confusing. Okay. So how many data items are there? Two data items, A and B. Let's see who is reading A initially in S. Of course, T1 is reading A first. You can see before this there is no read operation. And in schedule S, that is concurrent schedule, A, data item A is getting initially read by T1. Let's see S1 now. This is a serial schedule, isn't it? Who is reading A first? Here, T1 is reading A first. That means in both these schedules, data item A is initially getting read by T1. Now let's see data item B. Who is reading B initially in schedule S? That is concurrent schedule. Here we go. The read B operation over here, observe, is the first read operation on B in the entire schedule. So T1 reads B first. And who reads that B initially in schedule S1? That is serial schedule. T1 reads. That means in both these schedules, initial read of B is done by T1. And there are only two data items A and B, and we saw initial read is getting satisfied. Let's see final write now. Okay, two data items are there, A and B. Okay, let's see. Who is writing A finally in concurrent schedule S? Who is writing A finally? You can see that this write A is the final write. After this write, there is no write on A. A is not getting updated after this. So final write of A in the concurrent schedule is getting done by T2. Same thing should happen in serial schedule, correct? Yes, the final write on A over here is in T2. Check that, I am underlining that write A operation. So in both S and S1, that is concurrent schedule S and serial schedule S1, final write of A are matching. Let's see second data item B. Who is writing B last in S in this concurrent schedule? T2 is writing B. After this, there is no write on B. And the same thing is happening in the serial schedule. Write B is getting done last by T2. So even final writes are matching. Good. But there is one more condition about updated read. Now, what was updated read? If there is some transaction which is reading the value of A, which is getting updated by the other transaction, it is known as updated read. So we have to see read operations. Okay, let's see read operation on A. Here is the read operation. Check the marker. But before this, there is no write, so we don't have to bother it. We have to see only those reads on the data items which are actually after some write. Okay, there is read A here also, but before this there is no write A in none of the transactions, so no trouble. Okay, where is another read? Here is read B, correct? Read B. And is there any write B before in T2 in the other transaction? No. So this is not an updated read, isn't it? This is initial read, we should say. Okay. Now, where is another read? Here is the read. Oh, here is the interesting part. You just see this read B. Now, this B actually is a read operation on B getting done by T2. But this read B is the updated value of B, which was done by T1. So T1 writes B and T2 reads B. I hope you are understanding in the concurrent schedule. Same thing should happen in the serial schedule. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Read B. If you see this read B, here I am underlining read B. Correct? Before this read B in the other transaction T1, was there any write? Write B. Yes, write B. So this is updated value of B, and who has updated this? T1. And T1 updates B and T2 reads it. That means in both these schedules, B is getting read by T2, but that B was updated by T1. And there is no updated read possibility for A. We have seen that. Data item A does not have any updated read, isn't it? Because before both the reads of A, there is no write. Check my marker here. There is no write operation. There is only one read on B here, before which there was a write operation. Then all the three conditions are getting satisfied: initial read, final write, and updated read. So we say this concurrent schedule S is equivalent to the serial schedule S1. And which type of equivalence is this? Yes, it is view equivalent. These two schedules are called view equivalent. But S, that is concurrent schedule S, is view equivalent to a serial schedule, isn't it? Then we say this S is view serializable. I will write it again. See, these basic definitions are so important. We say concurrent schedule. In our example, concurrent schedule S is view equivalent because all three conditions were satisfied. Is view equivalent to serial schedule S1. Now, because this concurrent schedule S is view equivalent to one of the serial schedules S1, we say therefore S is view serializable. Once we have found that it is equivalent to one of the serial schedules, then it is not necessary to check the another serial schedule. Who knows, it might be equivalent to even this S2, but that's not necessary, isn't it? Because we have checked that this concurrent schedule is equivalent to one of the serial schedules. That's enough. And we have known that this schedule is definitely view serializable, isn't it so? Now it is very difficult to check whether the given schedule is view serializable or not. Why? Because every time we just can't keep writing such serial schedules and then check whether the concurrent schedule is equivalent to one of the serial schedules or not. Imagine that we were given a concurrent schedule which contains three transactions, T1, T2, and T3. This is a concurrent schedule. And we are asked whether this is view serializable. Then you will have to check all the possibilities of serial schedules. The serial schedules possible are T1, T2, T3, T1, T3, T2, isn't it? Six schedules are possible. And then we will have T2, T1, T3, T2, T3, T1, and T3, T1, T2, and T3, T2, T1, isn't it? And who knows, this concurrent schedule may be view equivalent to one of these serial schedules. Thank you very much.